Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome all. Hi. This is a shifting video. I'm going to jump right into what happened. You're not going to hear any noises today. It's empty. I've shifted back to the My Hero Academia universe because I was going to have a housewarming party. I decided to invite all the teachers from UA High. I invited everyone, guys, but only a few of them were able to come. Midnight, she's she's at the top of my list. She came, okay. Toshinori, Hawks, Principal Nezu, Mr. Aizawa. So all of them came, including Endeavor. Endeavor made mashed potatoes. Hawks made peaches. He said, I love peaches. I love your peach. I'm like, shut up. This Principal Nezu came over. He brought over like some punch he made. It was non-alcoholic, but it did taste like it had alcohol in it. Okay. I guess he's a real party animal. Oh. And then, of course, Toshinori made corn dogs. I don't know why they were so delicious. Oh, they were so good. I even had Frodo try like a tiny bite of it. He almost choked on it. We're going to talk about that later. Anyway, I had decided that after after all this took place, I would hook up with Toshinori. And if I couldn't hook up with Toshinori, I would try to get back at Hogs. But I figured I needed to make my plan a little bit better because last time it was a complete like flop. So I wasn't gonna make that mistake again. No way, no way. Anyways, sorry guys, I'm a little bit loud today. I do have to make my announcement for Twitch though. My Twitch video is gonna be Saturday, September 4th. That's this Saturday on the 4th. It's gonna be 10 a.m. guys. 10 a.m. in the morning. And the video is gonna be at least an hour. His party is gonna be an hour or at least 90 minutes. Okay, I'm not gonna spend too much time on Twitch. It is gonna be like my first time going live, but I'm lying because I do have to go live probably this week. Uh, I might even go after this video or before this video or something, just to test it out to make sure that I can record everything. Because for those of you who don't have Twitch, I will be uploading the video to YouTube so you guys can see it. So, yay! All right, so I shifted back there. Housewarming party. Oh, and I forgot. Frodo did have a doctor's appointment that I was supposed to take him to see after, but his appointment wasn't going to be until later that day, so I had plenty of time. I have this housewarming, party. Mr. Aizawa comes over. He made baked beans, and they were freaking delicious. And so, like, I took this as an opportunity to try and have Frodo try it. So I put Frodo in his high chair, and I put like a spoonful in his mouth, and he was like trying to spit them out, but I had my hand like I kind of put my hand over his mouth so he couldn't. He started crying and fussing, and then he like, and then he just threw up all over the. Oh, that's probably mean. Anyway, yeah, Endeavor wasn't happy. He was just like, "Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "Because I was trying to get him to like at least swallow it, like at least taste something before you decide you don't like it." But anyway, I cleaned him up after and everything, and so. Oh, and I forgot. Did I tell you guys the most important part? Yes, I did. Midnight came because she's important. God. Midnight said, she asked me earlier, can I invite whoever I want to the party? I told her, sure. There's no one that she cannot invite that I don't know or that I won't be happy with show up to the party. So then Midnight, as we were getting ready to go, by the way, I also, I made them like beef stew. It was the easiest thing to make. I'm sorry. I didn't recognize any of the ingredients on that menu. When I order in that reality, it's basically like an Instacart. So everything's kind of put into one group except for like the fruits and vegetables, but they're kind of like stuffed together. So the meat and the dairy is in one group, and the fruits and vegetables are together in another group, and it's bunched together. And the food there is really delicious. Like I made the beef stew. I used like steak. I think it was steak. It was kind of reddish, but it was, yeah, it was steak. I put like tomatoes in there, potatoes, carrots, you know, green beans, just beef stew. It was freaking delicious. And I cut up some green peppers and put it in there, and I seasoned it really well. Like some of the seasonings they had there is actually like the seasonings here. What I had to do was go and just like kind of like taste it, like sprinkle some in my hand and taste it, and it was good. That was how I figured out how to make the stew. It was so good. Anyway, fed all of them. Right? They said they really loved it. They enjoyed it. They hope that I make it for them again. As they were leaving, Midnight said, "My guests are here," and ding dong. I open the door, and it's basically all of the UA kids. Like all of them. Midoriya, Bakugo, Dinky, Momo, Ochako, Koda, Bakugo, Frappe, Mineta. Just all the kids. So she's like, "Well, you said you can invite whoever I wanted, but unfortunately I have to go. Goodbye." And I'm like, oh, and there was no more stew. So they left. The kids immediately ran over to Frodo. "Oh my God, Frodo's so cute." And Midoriya's like, "Can I hold him?" I'm like, "Yeah, but be careful." So he took him out of the high chair and was holding him and stuff. And Frodo didn't have anything on but this cute little bunny onesie. And earlier, me and me and Endeavor got into a little dispute. I said, "So now you're dressing him in like bunny onesies? So, like, what is this?" It's like he looks all fuzzy wuzzy. Yeah, he's cute and everything, but and he's like, "Well, I never got to dress my children this way." I wonder why, Endeavor. Could it be because I didn't say that, but I was gonna say, your relationship is so strained, bro. Like seriously. So the kids are playing with Frodo and stuff, and so I'm like, "Well, let's start cleaning up a little bit." And Bakugo's like, "I didn't make this mess. I'm not cleaning it." I said, "Well, you don't have to then. It's okay." And Midoriya goes, "I'll help." And he hands the baby to Momo. So Momo is playing with Frodo and stuff, and I look away and I'm like, just cleaning the house and stuff. And then Bakugo says, "I'm hungry." We didn't eat any food, and Midnight said you were going to have food for us because she said we'd come over and we could stay the night. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Why did she tell you could stay the night?" And they're like, "Oh, because." I'm like, "I'm not staying here. Like, what do you mean? Like, I can't." And they're like, "This is your house. Why can't you stay?" They don't know that I shift. Okay. So, and me and Toshinori got into something. We got into like a little dispute. I almost told him. I'm not really ready to talk to him. He says when I'm ready, I can talk to him about it because he knows that I think he knows I'm not from that reality because I'm so different. So I'm like, Brittle has a doctor's appointment later, so you guys can't stay. And I'm so glad I had that in my pocket because it was actually true. And then Midoriya was like, "Oh, so bad." He's like, "Too bad. I really wanted to stay with Frodo. I wanted to sleep beside him." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's too bad." And they're like, "What are we going to eat?" And I'm like, why don't you guys stay with Frodo and I'll go and find you something. That's probably the dumbest thing in the world I could have possibly said. So I left all the kids at the house with Frodo. These are older kids, okay? Older, more than capable of watching one baby. Okay? That's biohazard. Should be fine. And guys, the funny thing is I didn't really know where to find food because I always order it from the Instacart thing. So I was literally asking for directions. I was too proud to ask Hawks, and I was definitely too proud to ask Endeavor. And Hawks, I decided to just go venture out on my own. And I sort of got lost, okay? There were these streets, and it basically had one building on each side of them, and it kind of reminds you of an alley. Imagine an alley, okay, but there's a street that goes straight down the middle with sidewalks, trees, and everything. And there's nothing but convenience stores, so I kind of ran in and out of them. By the time I figured out what I was getting, it was getting dark. I kept looking at the time. Oh no, I'm not going to have time to cook because Frodo is going to be late for his appointment. Go back to the house. The kids, I walk in and the kids are all screaming, "Ah!" I'm like, "What is it? What is it? What is it?" And the first thing I'm like, "Where's Frodo?" And I'm like, where's Frodo? And Ochako is like, up here. I look up, guys. Frodo is freaking floating. He's floating up there. And Ochako is like doing flips. So she's like flipping over. And he's flipping over. And they're both laughing. And I'm like, Ochako, are you doing this? Are you making him float? And she goes, no. We couldn't find him earlier. And I'm like, Momo. I left Momo in charge. Okay. And she's like, what? We couldn't find him. And I'm like, and they're like, well, he was in the air. So they're like, I guess he has your quirk. I'm like, in the weird way he does. And I go, well, that's enough excitement for today. Say, guys, why don't we order Kamikaze Pizza? Our favorite place. So I ordered food from them. They were all eating, and Midoriya and Bakugo are arguing amongst each other. Who's going to be stronger? You know, Bakugo, I'm going to be the strongest person ever. I'm going to be stronger than you. I'm going to be the best hero. I'm going to be better than all of you because none of you guys can beat me. And then, you know, hot Kirishima. You know, Kirishima jumps up, want to bet? And he's like, yeah, I do want to bet. And I'm like, no fighting in this house. There's a baby present. And I look over at Frodo and he does this little laugh. I'm like, it's too freaking cute. I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, you guys can go now. So after they ate, they left, whatever. And Midoriya's like, Miss Cottoncandydoll, when are you coming back to the school? And I told him I'm going to go back next week because Principal Nezu invited me back to the school. He says he's been waiting for the time when I want to come back. And, you know, school hadn't started back yet, so that's why I haven't returned, really. So I'm supposed to start back for them next week or whatever. So inviting all of the UA students, shame on Midnight for that. Shame. Don't do that. They all left. And guys, I told you I'm not really that great at using my quirk for some reason. Like, it feels like I can't use it all the time. I can only use it sometimes, like if I'm in a terrible danger. So I'm trying to call Frodo down to me, and he's not coming down. I was like standing on top of like the chair and on the table trying to get him. And eventually I had to call his father. So Hawks came and got him off the ceiling and brought him back down. And so like he's like, well, it's already this late, you know, do you wanna like ride to the appointment? I'm like, please. Basically left everything there, turned off the stove, left out of the house. We get to the doctor's office and they're examining Frodo, and the doctor comes over and he's like, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, the last time you wanted to talk to me, it was weird. It was about like breastfeeding and stuff, right? Which I told him, you know, that's not going to work with Frodo, obviously, because he's, you know, he requires more than that. I go in there and he's like, close the door behind you. And I'm like, she's like, this is a really private, personal conversation. I'm like, okay. So I close the door, I sit down, I'm sitting across from him. You guys remember what he looks like, right? I explained it in my other video, like when you guys first met him. Anyway, so he's talking and he's like, you know, this, that, the third, Frodo. This, that, the third, Frodo. And he's like, also, Frodo has your quirk. And I go, no kidding, you know, I noticed today when I'm floating on the ceiling. He goes, no, that's not the quirk I'm talking about. And I go, what other quirk are you talking about? I don't have a quirk besides flying. He said, you do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have another quirk. I have my flying quirk. And he says, you smell like cotton candy. He pointed at me and he's like, you smell like cotton candy. I'm like, okay. He's like, why do you smell that way? I'm like, because I take a bath before I come here and I clean myself really well. And so like I smell good after. He said, then how long do you smell that way for? I'm like, I don't know, as long as I want to. Like, I never pay attention. I don't pay attention to that. And he goes, Frodo that has no body odor. Frodo is odorless. And I said, that's because he's a biohazard. He said, no. Frodo has your quirk. He said, Endeavor told him the other day. He bathed Frodo in lavender. And Frodo smelled like lavender for 2 days. So they tested out. They did baby powder next. They put baby powder on him. Um, he basically absorbs everything. So if he's bathed in, like, I guess roses, he'll smell like roses or something. And he said, that's your quirk. Your quirk is that you can absorb. Your body absorbs stuff that you use and you smell like it. He goes, what's your regular body scent? Like, what do you have a body scent? And I'm like, excuse me, that's very personal. You don't act stuff like that. And he goes, it's really important. It's important. And I'm like, I'm very uncomfortable. I need to leave. So we take Frodo, we leave out, and I guess Hawks was standing next to the door. Well, I leave out, and so was Endeavor, and he's like, you might be right. You always smell like cotton candy. I'm like, that's because, like, you guys know why already. Maybe Endeavor doesn't. Okay, I understand that. But the rest of you guys know already because I told you. So I leave out of there and I'm like, I'm leaving with Frodo, and Hawks is like, well, Frodo has all of your traits. He has your quirks. He doesn't have anything of mine. I'm like, Hawks, he has your hair. He has your eyes. Okay. And he's a boy. He's you, basically. He's you with my quirks, basically, I guess. But then the doctor did say it's too early to know if that's the only thing he'll have. So, besides his own quirk, biohazard, besides my quirks, he has. I'm gonna just say quirk because the whole body odor thing, that's just weird. All right. I'm gonna say he can fly now, and he has biohazard. So now he's a flying biohazard. You know, it's a cute flying biohazard. And Hawks is like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm like, he might get wings later, maybe. I mean, he might become more like you. He already looks more like you than me right now. His hair is not gonna change pink. So I mean, so Hawks is like, okay, I accept that then. So I gave Frodo to Hawks. And I looked outside of the hospital and I noticed that all the children from UA are standing out there. And I feel like I owe them an apology. So I go out and I apologize to them. And I'm like, Momo, I'm so sorry that, I got upset at you. I feel like I yelled at you. I shouldn't have given you like such a responsibility when you guys are not grown ups. You're obviously still children, and I still need to treat you like children. I know that you're older, but it doesn't excuse the fact that you're still children. I'm sorry. And they go, it's okay, Miss Cotton Candy Doll. And Buck goes like, when are you coming back? And I'm like, next week I'll be back. I said, unfortunately, I'm not teaching your class. They said, we'll be by to visit you. And then Nikki's like, your class is so much fun. I'm definitely coming to your room after. And I'm like, it's really not going to be that fun. I guess they can't wait to see like what kind of exciting things are going to happen in my class. But I'm trying to tell them like, I can't misbehave like I did last time and like ruin the school gym like we did. So yeah, next time it's not going to be like that at all. Anyway, I shifted out of there. I shifted back here. But the whole time I kept thinking about what that doctor said about my quirk. And it just makes me feel so weird. I would have really liked to spend some time with one of my well, I got to see Frodo, that was enough. But I definitely wanted to spend some time with Toshinori. Hawks, God, he let me have it last time. It was so bad. Hawks has me so confused about my body. It's ridiculous. Like, he has me confused about my G spot. Like, I feel like I have more than one G spot, where it's like maybe the G spots just like separated into different areas because it feels like the same area. But then, so 1 second, like, so the orgasm will happen, and then it'll be like, I thought it already happened. Did it not go away, or is it happening now? Like, I'm so confused about it. He messed me up. He like messed up my thinking because now I just don't know anymore. Like that's how good he is. Yeah. Toshinori is so like, yeah, describe him to you guys. Okay. It's a freaking amazing. It's like a dream. So oh, Yeah, that part was just added at the end. I'm sorry, guys. I love my guys so much. I can dream about them all day until I go see them. Anyway, I'm going to end my video there, but one more thing I wanted to say. I am going to go to Twitch in like the next couple minutes. I'm thinking. I was trying to think of what I could do on there. I read this. Okay, I have this. Dun, 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 dun. Look, there's Toshinori behind you. There he is right there. Look. Little All Might. So I have this book, right? It's called Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. I was going to go on Twitch and read this book to everyone. And there's this specific story that I found. And it made me want to like rip my head off last night when I read it. The real title to this book should be Grimm's Complete Weirdo Tales. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, this story made me so freaking... It just made me want to tear my freaking head off. Like, it's... What is it called? I'm going to find it for you guys. It's so terrible. This is the most horrible story I've ever heard in my life. It's called, like... What is it called? Not Rumpelstiltskin. You guys know this story, Rumpelstiltskin. Anyway, guys. Yes, it's called God's Food. Read this. Honestly, the story is only like... Can you guys see that? God's Food. It's only like one paragraph or whatever. But it's freaking horrible. This story was so bad. I was like, I'm not reading anything out of that book. I don't care. Instead, let's do something more fun. Let's review this game, which I'm playing. Everyone talked about how it was so bad, like Harvest Moon One World. I have a few things I want to say about it. So I'm going to go on the Twitch and I'm going to just, talk about this, I guess, instead of that horrible story I read. Oh, it just made me want to just like, it just made me so angry, guys. I swear, it made me so mad. It makes me not want to read anything from the book ever again. I just wanted to throw the book against the wall. Like, that's how it made me feel. I'm not even joking. I'm being over dramatic, I know. Anyway, guys, if you want, you can join me on Twitch in the next maybe 5-10 minutes or whatever. I'm gonna go straight there, and I also have ta-da! I also have wine. So that we can have a drink while we're talking. Don't forget, Frodo's party is going to be Saturday. This Saturday, September 4th. It's going to be at 10 a.m. It's going to be from 10 to 11 or 11:30. I haven't figured out which one yet. But I got to go in there. I need to test it out and everything. And I'm going to leave my link down in the description for you guys so you can see it. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you hated it, you can give it a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when other videos like this one becomes available. Ding! And I guess I'll see you guys on Twitch or in my next video. Thank you all for watching. Bye!